it's a little bit controversial, and I say this in the fora that I get invited to about financial education in schools. I don't think it's a subject. I think when we're teaching maths, why teach about percentages? Why not just teach about interest rates?
That's because maths and English, I was about to say, are compulsory. So why can't they just incorporate it into maths?
It should be embedded into the curriculum.
Exactly.
Real life examples.
Yeah, rather than algebra, learn
Which
about...
means more. Which
something.
means a lot more, and it makes it real life, because what happens at the moment is you've got money over here and you've got your rest of your life over here, and that's just not how our world exists. So when you talk about history, most wars have to do with land and money. A lot of geography and a lot of policy decisions revolve around money, maths. So what happens is you have a generation of young people, particularly women, who say, I'm not good at maths, so I'm not good at money. And actually those two things have very little to do with each other. Money is much more about psychology. So if we could embed it in the curriculum so that no matter what subject you were doing, there was an element of what we call financial literacy, risk. Risk is a huge element of money. We never talk about it. It's got nothing to do with maths. So 100%, if we could do that, sign me up. I'd be the first person to sign up for that. I think the challenge that we have with teachers is that we've already got a literacy and numeracy crisis in this country. And so if I was a parent, there's an element of, can we please teach my kids how to read properly and understand how to do basic mathematics? So to circle back to what we were talking about before we started, I think that we need to review what a 21st century education system looks like. What does a good student need in order to survive in this crazy changing world? And we're not doing that right now. We're simply, we're redoing what we were doing 10 years ago and 20 years ago. The biggest changes in schools is we now have whiteboards instead of blackboards. Like, it's a running joke in EdTech. Like, that's simply not good enough. But we can't expect teachers to make the change.
We had whiteboards about 10 years ago in my school.
Yeah.
It's not like it's anything new. Yeah, we had them ages ago.
Or we're giving kids iPads. Like, that's great, but so what? Like, that's not whether... So in an ideal world, we'd press pause. We'd get the smartest educators in the room. We'd get some industry people in the room, and we'd figure out, what does a 21st century education system look like?
We had that opportunity during lockdown.
Yes, we did.
But we didn't really take it.
No, we didn't. Same with healthcare. It was a perfect opportunity to reimagine these things, but we didn't. And it's such a wasted opportunity.
I mean, we can't even reform tax in the budget. So,
Yes. You know what? Back to what you were saying, enlightened enterprise, this is part of how you make change. It's part of how you make change. So I'm sure you guys as well, we train on the job. We employ a lot of young people. Like, the majority of my team is under 35. We do training, we help people. I nag people to death about getting their ISA done with their permission. They tell me they want to be nagged, and then I nag them until it's done. But, that's not scalable on a national level, and not everyone's going to have an employer, like us, and not all employers think that this stuff is important. And then it becomes the haves and have-nots. And what tends to happen when I sit in these, at the House of Commons, you get invited to these round tables, and everyone's talking about these grand scheme ideas. Okay, but actually, we've got 300,000 students on our platform out of a 1.2 million possible. Like, you can rely to a certain degree on simply being creative and innovative, and then that has scale, because people like us build for scale and we think about what scale looks like. But change never happens because government decides to do something.
They don't even...
you have a quarter of students on your platform.
We have 300,000 students in our platform, 1.2 million a year. That's over the last 3 years. So it's 10% of students. Yeah.
That was a clip from our full-length interview with Vivi Friedgut. If you want to watch the full episode, you can watch it right here.